All right, welcome back to Definite Fiction. In this video, we're going to do two things. One, we're going to, starting with the Premier League Scorebug that we created in the three-part tutorial previously. We're going to redesign the Scorebug, hopefully kind of quickly, and then add the ability to display red cards for each team. So to do this, first thing we're going to do is delete some elements. So we're going to delete the Premier League logo. We want to delete these. Can't see my keyboard. I'm going to delete the parallelograms and the rest of the things we should be able to use. Okay. So I want to get the parts of the timer out of the way. We need one more shape. Let me expand Excel real quick. Oops. I didn't want to do it that way. Just grab the top and all right, expand it that way. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we could delete this and add a circle, but I'm gonna just change the format. So this was like a rounded triangle. In the shape format tab, I'm going to click edit shape. Oops. And then select circle. And we can see, well, it's hidden, but let's go ahead and bring that to the front. And then we're going to make it an actual circle. That, oops, 7.7, that's probably going to be good, 0.7. All right, now we want it lined up. Actually, let me make sure. So that's 0.42, 2.19. Just want to make sure that these are the same, and they are not. All right, so we're going to make the two rectangles the same width. Okay, yeah. So 2.2. And then send this over. All right, that'll work. And then I'm going to, I've got it lined up in between those. We're going to put it kind of centered over the top. Now we want, make it easier for ourselves. I'm going to make the font size smaller for the teams. Let's go ahead. Actually, I'm going to, zoom in really good. All right, so I want to line the top and bottom. You can see that it's not in the middle. First thing we're going to do is check, make sure that's in the middle. We can also, let's see, right click and then format shape. And then text options and remove the top margin and bottom margin. So we know it's in the middle. Let's see what the width of this one is. All right, that is 0.8. Is this also 0.8? No, it's 0.86. All right, first 4.2 or 0.42 rather. And then 0.8. Okay, so we're got the same sizes. Let's go ahead and use the paintbrush tool to fix the rest of it. How did that make it bigger? Did it make it bigger? It did. Actually, let's do it this way. So that's going to be 0.4. That's 0.4. All right. Oops. I hadn't deselected from the toolbar. All right, so we're going to bring this down there. Let's make sure that's still lined up. Line that left edge up, and then the right edge on that one. Okay, that looks fine. Now the scores are obviously way too big. So we're going to reduce the size. I kind of want them to be bigger than the text for the team, or say 40. And then what we can do is, if it's selected like that, line it up with the edge of the circle. And these do not look like they're the same size either. Let's go 0.5 for the width there. I guess they were. Okay, so that's lined up on the edge. That's lined up on the edge. Okay, those look good. All right, so for this, actually what we're going to do, instead of having this flat, we're going to give it a gradient. So on the shape format tool, under the fill, gradient, and we want it to go from light to dark, dark on the outside edge. And we're actually going to go back in. I right-clicked it. Back to the format shape, fill. Gonna remove this middle point, and then we're gonna fade it to black. There we go. And then, this inside edge. Let me just make sure it's the normal red. Okay. Similar thing here, gradient fill. And it's going to use that same fill, but we want inside edge to be light blue and outside edge to be black. Okay, we got that. Middle circle, we don't want it purple. We are going to do a gradient fill. Instead of side to side, we want this to be top to bottom. And then we're going to make the top half a gray, bottom half another gray, but darker. It's a little too subtle. Let's lighten up the top. There we go. That'll work. And we are going to add a line to the outside of the circle. And that line could be any sort of gray. Let's make it, that's fun. Let's make it a little bit thinner though. There we go, 1 point. All right. All right, it's already looking good. And the other thing, all right, I'm gonna have to reduce the size a little bit because we need to be able to see some of the fields down here. So I put the minute field. Let me do like this whole minute, and then we're going to cut this and paste it here. And because I cut and pasted, it changed the reference for the rectangle up here. So that looks good. The other thing that I didn't realize until after I did the previous tutorial was what we want to do is we, instead of having, because we have a gradient here, and we're gonna end up putting the timer over the circle. We can't use this background thing and then, like what we previously did, hiding the decimals underneath. But we don't really have to, because what we can do is do this. So we need this to be the whole number, but we don't want it to round up when we get to like 6 minutes, 30 seconds, or 60 minutes and 30 seconds. We want it to always round down. So we're going to do, in the formula bar, we're going to go round. So we want round down, and then it's going to round down, still going to multiply those things, and then we hit a comma, and we don't want, oh, we actually, hold on. So round down and then number of digits, and we're going to put a 0 here because we don't want any decimals. The decimals are still showing up just because we have the number format forced. So we go back to number format, custom. The other thing we're going to do, I'll explain this later, is because it's going to be centered in this circle, whenever we have like 0 to 9 minutes on the clock, it's going to look off center. So we're going to go ahead and have 2 digits always in the minutes field. So it'd be like 00, 01, 02, 03, and then 10 minutes, and then so on. To do that in the custom, we're going to do just 00. So it's always going to show, like, it shows the sample 60. We hit OK, and then it's 60. If we do 60 minutes and 36 seconds reset, it's rounding down to the 60, and it won't be until, so if we go 55 seconds reset, it won't be until it gets to the 0 that this will go up to 1. And it'll always stay at 61 until it gets wholly to 62 because it's always rounding down. All right, let's stop that. We can remove the background for the seconds. So we'll go no fill. Now we should be able to bring these up into the Scorebug. Except it has to be in the front. So I'm going to hold down, well, on my MacBook command, on Windows PC it would be Control, and we'll go shape format, bring forward, bring to front. Okay, now we should be able to drag this up in here. I'm going to put a definite fiction logo just above this, so that looks just about right. So now if we go back to 0 this out, reset. So now it's 00, but it looks somewhat balanced. It actually looks kind of off. One sort of quick way of figuring out the spacing, if you don't want to try to do math, is to kind of eyeball it this way. So it's close enough. All right, delete that rectangle. All right, so that's there. I got room for my logo, and we're going to go ahead and insert a logo. Should have it. So we're going to place over cells, picture from file. What do I want? DF icon. All right. This is down here. I'm going to resize that. Doesn't need to be a particular size. It's just going to be whatever kind of fits in here. Something like that's good. Obviously, it's a little bit dark, so I'm going to go up to corrections and then just select something brighter. There we go. Okay. All right. So we have the timer in place. Everything's been redesigned. Cool. All right. Now it's time to get into part 2. Part 2 is adding in red cards. So for this, I'm probably going to do how to display like player names later with, the minute that they received a red card. For this, I'm just going to be adding red card indicators up above each of the teams. To do that, we are going to insert shape, rounded rectangle, and kind of like figure out how wide we want this to be. It's going to be underneath here. And you have multiple red cards. We're going to add 3 per team. And then obviously they don't need to be used, but let's go ahead and, remove that one, no outline. And then we want to do a gradient fill. These are obviously red cards. We're going to go top to bottom fill. Should have been a top to bottom fill. And then right click, format shape. Okay. So gradient fill, once again, we're just going to select and then remove the middle point. The bottom one, we want it to be a dark red. Top one, let's go ahead and make it the brighter red. And then what's going to happen is this is going to be, it's just going to be poking out from behind the team name. We want the gradient to appear up here. Right now, this part is all just red. So in order to do that, we're going to drag this up. Yeah, 75% right there. Okay. All right. So that should be good once it's kind of hidden back there. We do see a little bit of gradient because we want it. If it was like a flat red, then it would look weird relative to the the team names. All right. So that one's good. The other thing we need to do is we're going to have to write 2 macros, and we need to use the name of each of these rounded rectangles. So with that selected over here, we can see, I'm going to Control C that name and Control V, paste it here. So that's rounded rectangle 24. Now we're going to copy this, not that, Control Z that. All right, copy that and paste it. Let me go ahead and scroll down, and then Control V again, and then we're going to do that 3 more times. They don't really need to be lined up right now, but this will just make it easier when we're writing the macros. Okay, so we've done that. So we're going to select this one. Go up here, Control C there, Control V. Okay, so 24, 25, it's going to be 26. The reason I needed to do the second one is because sometimes if you have multiple shapes and maybe you've deleted one, sometimes the sequencing is not perfect. So we can assume that it's 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, 29. Okay, next thing we're going to do is write the macros. Macros will be basically the same, except the first one is going to be referring to these 3. The second one's going to be referring to those 3. The other thing we need to do is, let's do a, let's see, home RC for red card, and then away RC. So each of these cells are going to have numbers in them that we'll be using to determine how many red cards to display. So that's going to be B18 and B19. Okay, so let's go Tools, Macro, Visual Basic Editor. If you're on a Windows laptop, this would be under the Developer tab. I probably should be doing this under on a Windows PC, but it works the same whether you're on Windows or Mac. All right, so these are the 2 modules of macros that we created in the 3-part tutorial. For this one, we are going to insert module. We're going to call this one red cards. Okay, so you just type in here and then just hit enter to save it. All right, so 2 macros. One is going to be to give home a card. So we just call it that. So sub give home, no spaces, card, open parentheses, close. Oops, I didn't need to do that. It automatically did. So I got some extra parentheses. Okay, let's give it a little space. All right. So we need an if then that's going to determine whether we're adding the first card, the second card, third card, or removing the cards. So we need if, and then it's that, was that range? You can see it here, CRB 18. So if range B18 dot value equals, so start with 0. So 0, add a space there. So if it's 0, then what we want is that first, what do we say, rounded rectangle 24. So we want, this is on active sheet dot shapes. Let's see, range, ray, and then in quotes, rounded rectangle 24. And close, dot visible equals MSO true. Okay, so yeah, the first time through, it's going to display this one. Okay, and then, oops, what did I miss? Oh, that should be a dot, not, oops, missed the shift. Okay, active sheet dot shapes dot range, and then parentheses array, parentheses quote, rounded rectangle 24, quote, dot visible equals true. Okay, that's good. And then when that happens, we're going to change the value of that range. So range, whoops, B18 dot value equals 1. Okay. Don't need to make it too very big. Okay, so next. So we'll go else if. I'm gonna get an error here, but I just want to copy this. So else if that value equals 1, then we're going to copy all of this. Then paste that. We're going to make rectangle 25 visible. And we're going to change that value of B18 to 2. All right, so now we need all of this again. So else if the value is 2, then we're going to make 26 visible, and we're going to set the value to 3, and then else. So then the value is 3, what we're going to do is just need one of these. Paste that. We're going to change this to false. So it's no longer visible. Okay, paste that twice. And we need to set 24, 25, and 26 to to not visible, and we need to change this value to 0. Oops, yeah, and then, oops, let me get it. There we go, 0. And then we can end if. And we also don't need, let's just make it smaller by, remove the spaces, and then let me add tabs in here. Just to make it easier to read in case I have to come back in here and edit anything. All right, before we copy and paste that, let's go ahead and run this one. It automatically saves, so just habitually add that or hit that save button. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to right click this one, copy that, paste it. Red home. Oops. Let's go ahead and make that. Let's make it wider instead of taller because we're going to put it up right below the scorebug. Give it a fill of red. There we go. Now right click, assign macro. Give home card. Okay. Now, click. There we go. All right, so they're gone. Home RC is 0. Add 1. Add 2. Add 3. Delete. Okay. We're about to have to position those, so we need to be able to see them. All right, now let's go ahead and duplicate that macro and adjust it. So, yeah, back to Visual Basic Editor. And we're going to copy that and paste it and call this give away card. And all right, so our references, instead of B18 becomes B19. All right, so there, there. Yes. Okay, all the B19s. 24 becomes 7, so 7, 8, 9 is what we want. So this becomes a 27, 28, 29, 7, 8, 9. Okay. That should be good. And what we need to do, so we're going to have these positioned next to each other. So we're going to, it's going to be like this, and this, and this. But then these are going to be, we want it to be outside in. So this. Okay. Duplicate this one. Paste. Away. Right click that, assign macro, give away card. Okay, so 3 times, doesn't do anything, and now away, outside, in. Okay, perfect. All right, so now what we want to do, let's go ahead and position these buttons kind of somewhere down in here. We don't want it to overlap with the green screen that we're going to cut out of for OBS. And this one down here somewhere. All right. And now here's what we're going to do. What are we going to do? Let's first grab all 3 of these and position them about there. And then these. position them up here. All right, so we want this to be, well, we're going to work on the spacing. First, we're going to use the V alignment and shape format. So shape format, align. We're going to align these middle. Okay. So they're all the same height. And now we can send these all to back. Okay. From here, it's about right for poking out. Now we're just going to kind of try to position these, distribute them evenly. That's fine. These actually look pretty good. This one looks a little close. Okay. All right. So that looks good. Now make these all go away. So right card, 2 right cards, right card, 2 right cards, 3 right cards. All right. That works. So that's it. Let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and bring this into OBS just so we can see what that looks like. Oops. All right. So deprecated window capture. I could have named it, but it's all right. Spreadsheet. Okay. Super small. I set this to 4K for editing, for filming, so that's why it showed up as small as it did. An option, drag the edge. Usually I get my best results when, instead of using green screen, I think I said this in a previous tutorial, but instead of using green, using magenta. So if we actually make this really big, this is way bigger than the resolution allows. And then go in here, add a filter, chroma key, and yeah, the edge is actually kind of fine. All right, so yeah, I don't have to adjust the slider. Actually, make sure, yeah, the reds and the blues are still there. That's good. Okay, so I'll close that. Reduce the size again. Again, this is a 1080 screen with a OBS canvas that's 4K right now, so it's going to seem a lot smaller. Although that's actually pretty good. It's about what you would want. Maybe just slightly bigger. Okay, that's it. But now you can, let's go ahead and add a red card. Boom. That's pretty cool though. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Hope you like the red cards. Yeah. Next video we'll add the player names. Yeah. If you learned something, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. All right. We'll see you.